Raise your hand if you ever had an idea that you thought was kind of crazy. Okay, look around you. See, you're not alone. People are thinking things all the time. And that's exactly where we started, with an idea. We looked for the biggest problem we could solve, and when we finally found it, we were pretty shocked. We thought, this can't be how people are doing things. And more importantly, we thought there had to be a solution. So our journey began. And along the way, we found something we never expected, a business. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the beginning. Our startup came from humble roots. This was us. Just two Ivy League grads working boring six-figure tech jobs with a little too much time on our hands. We didn't have experience, but it turns out we had everything we needed: grit, determination, financial security, and a healthy sense of hustle. So we quit our cushy jobs. We moved into a cramped co-working space. It wasn't glamorous, but we didn't care. We were convinced we'd found the next big thing. But the farther along we got, the more challenges we faced. Take a look at this graph. See, turns out saving the world wasn't so easy. And the seemingly simple problem we set out to solve kept getting more and more complex. We knew we had to raise money to get to the next level. Now we just had to convince investors that our problem was worth solving. Yeah, not so easy. Why would a group of people who looked like our parents trust two kids with $60 million? But somehow we convinced them. It seemed like the world was our oyster. We were experiencing exponential growth. But then we hit an asymptote. See, we were so busy growing our company, we forgot to sell our product. Even worse, we didn't know our customer. Sure, they were people, but what if they weren't? We were looking at the numbers, but we weren't getting any insight. And when we finally stopped to analyze the data, we realized we had missed some major takeaways. Take a look at this graph. Pretty surprising, right? Imagine how we felt. So, we had hit rock bottom. It felt like no one believed in us. Our Uber drivers stopped asking about our days. Our dogs wouldn't acknowledge us on the streets. We forgot to cook our Blue Apron meals, and they went bad in our fridge. But we were certain that once we pushed past our uncertainty, the answer would become clear. As Warren Buffett once famously said, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. If that's true, this was pretty risky. It was time to go back to the drawing board. We thought about how we were feeling. We digested what we'd been ingesting. We looked at what we were seeing. And we listened to what people were actually saying. Take a look at this graph. I'll give you a minute to digest. See, at the intersection of what we thought and how we felt, we found something surprising. Ourselves. Looking at yourself is kind of like standing in front of a mirror. You might not like what you see, but it's just a reflection of your surroundings. And when you're your own best customer, your product sells itself. Okay, I want everyone to try something with me. Close your eyes. Think of everyone you've ever loved. Everywhere you've ever been. Everything you've ever cared about. Okay, now open your eyes. A little bit easier to see, isn't it? That's what I thought. Okay, my time up here is short, so I'll leave you with this. To have a true vision, you have to be able to see. For us, it was as simple as opening our eyes. Thank you.